I'm free.
Thank the good Lord. We've had an up and down week over there in the Appalachians.
Yeah.
It's been wild, bro.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Where to even begin on this one?
Ah, man. Well, I want to hear, though, you didn't really tell me in detail what the jail stint was like. And I know it was horrific from the small details I've heard you talk to me about already. But I'd like you to tell the fans kind of,
Sure.
why don't we start with why you were arrested?
Sure.
And then what the jail was like. And
Sure.
just, like a serious talk about what happened.
Spoiler alert. I was assaulted.
Mm-hmm. In jail.
Yeah.
Sexually. He was... It's unfortunately how quickly he was actually assaulted sexually in jail. But, it's something that's going to make him, I don't know, more of a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
It's something else you have, now not only have you been in fights, you've been a bouncer at bars, you have a crazy YouTube channel, but you were sexually assaulted in jail by a meth head.
I will wear it proudly.
Yes.
I will wear it proudly.
As you should.
Let's back up a little bit and just talk about the idea for this trip.
Sure.
I saw that a buddy of mine on YouTube, Peter Santinello, did a series in Appalachia, and him and I talk on the phone sometimes and business strategies, and he did this Appalachia series, and it in mind-bending levels of views. 16 million on one of them, 5-6 million on the rest of the series. And I saw that, and I watched the videos and loved them and was really interested in the region. And I texted him and asked him, hey, would you mind me going out and doing my own take on Appalachia? I promise it'll be very different. And he was super cool about it. I was like, yeah, man, go for it. So the idea was that we were going to do a 4-parter covering Appalachian economy, culture, recreation, and religion. It was going to come out over the course of 2 weeks, these 4-piece videos, or these 4 videos. And I was hyped. I had a bunch of material written for them, a bunch of places to be. And on our very first bit after touching down in Appalachia,
The first bit.
the first morning, the first piece of content we have to shoot for the first video, which was going to be the culture one, we go to a dental clinic. The reason I wanted to go to a dental clinic is because Mountain Dew mouth was a phenomenon that I was curious about. Mountain Dew mouth in Appalachia is a thing that happens when people there drink too much soda. In some cases, they were even videographed, recorded. Sorry, I'm still shaking up from my stint in jail this week.
Yeah.
Shake the cobwebs up. In some cases, locals have even put Mountain Dew into baby bottles and fed them to their babies on camera. If that's happening on camera and in fucking news stories, it probably happens all the time off camera.
Fez, no doubt, was fed some soda as a child. Probably Coca-Cola, very famous of the Latinos.
Most likely, yes. I cannot remember not once not having it.
Yeah. As far back as he remembers.
I cannot remember not once not having it.
the soda. I love the soda.
So
soda.
we wanted to, the idea for this bit was it was going to center on how big food companies, big soda, take advantage of that region. Because that region, that is the most downtrodden, abused, exploited group of white people probably in the world.
Yeah, it's crazy that Joe Rogan literally just spoke to the guy that did that song, that song that's blowing up. And I think that guy might be from the Appalachia region.
Yeah,
but he's
Richmond, north of Richmond.
Yeah, this area of the United States needs some attention.
Sure.
So I'm glad that you're doing your piece on it. Although our experience there was pretty wild. So
Yes.
continue.
The mining business has exploited people there since forever. Not forever, since the late 1800s, early 1900s. Up until today, I still see them as getting exploited. It's a job with a high mortality rate. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Then the OxyContin. That was the first place they started prescribing the shit out of OxyContin and getting these coal miners and working class people hooked on a product that is lethal.
Right.
And then big food too. We were in a town in Welch, West Virginia. We asked somebody locally if there was a good coffee shop, and they said McDonald's.
The best place to guys, the best place to eat in town was McDonald's.
Yes. We tried a restaurant on Saturday night,
We
didn't we?
tried a restaurant, and it was... I had a turkey sandwich with like the meat seemed like something that you'd find at 7-Eleven. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It was like a 7-Eleven sandwich they gave me.
I think it was probably worse, maybe even.
Yeah.
It was probably worse than a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
The lettuce looked like it might have had paper or cardboard in it.
Yeah.
Nico's burger looked like it was out of one of those like My First Easy Bake Oven toys. It looked rubber.
We asked a guy in town, a local, where we should eat, and this was his reaction. He looked down, he looked me in the eyes, and he goes, I don't know. He lived in the town. Yeah.
Well, fish, when I'm hungry, I just go out in the back and catch me a squirrel.
Dude, we don't want to be assholes, but boy, these people, they need a lot of help, man.
They
need
do.
a lot of help.
Yeah, and that was way deep in West Virginia. There
Right.
were better places that we went to, but that in Welch, West Virginia, it was so bad.
It was
But
insane.
we go to the dental clinic, and I mean, it's public record now. I don't want to talk too much about some elements of the case,
Right.
but yeah, we wanted to, in order to skewer the big soda companies that exploit the region, we were pretending and we said we were not real dental hygienists. We said we're amateur dental hygienists, but the premise was that underneath the dental hygienist masquerade, we were actually Mountain Dew salespeople, and we were going to investigate people's teeth and then slip them a dew.
Right.
Should I pull up the article? Like, Leo, do you want to link it to me?
Sure.
Yeah.
It'll just distract us right now. Do it
Yeah,
after
let's
the fact.
do it after, yeah.
And we do our bit. It was very, very respectful as far as we go.
We wanted to be respectful right off the rip because we didn't really know what the locals were going to do.
Yeah.
We were getting terrible looks everywhere we went.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I don't know, like I feel like maybe, like I felt discriminated, you could say.
Discriminated against.
Discriminated against. I felt like I felt like I was a minority in that town. I didn't look like anyone in town.
Mm-hmm.
Danny made a funny comment about him being like the Brad Pitt of the Appalachians. So
Yeah.
you could have been born in that area and
yeah.
maybe been like the best looking guy. You were the best looking guy in town by far.
Yeah, I looked like the guy who realizes he's better looking than the rest of the Appalachian guys, moves to Hollywood,
Right.
but then doesn't make it in Hollywood because he's not good looking enough.
No, he might get a gig at Universal Studios,
Sure.
in a furry costume or something, and
Yeah.
then tell everybody back home, I'm working at Universal Studios.
I'm
You know
working
how
at
it is.
Universe. I work in front of the Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I talk in an English accent and I direct people onto the train. It's going great.
Hell yeah.
We do the bit, and it's very lightweight. We're respectful. We're joking around. A lot of the ladies are laughing, having a good time with us. But then some people find it a little less funny, and they end up calling the cops.
Right.
Cops get called on us a lot. It's not a big deal. We almost never are actually breaking real laws.
Right.
So we usually don't panic when we hear that the cops are called or when cops show up.
We have an entire system already like down. Like I don't say anything. I'm usually in the back. Nico's driving and Danny does the talking. He puts on his super respectful tone. He says, sir, we show our hands, and then, they let us go.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
Usually how it goes. And as we're driving away from the clinic, we see the lights in our rearview mirror, which is a little bit of a bummer because we had a lot to film that day. I was hoping we could burn up to Eastern Kentucky and get a busy up there. But we get pulled over. Again, we don't think it's a big deal. We're just hanging out, talking to the cops, basically telling them what happens. Well, one of the employees at the dental clinic zooms in front of the car, our rental car, to cut us off so we can't escape.
In a big white truck, like a big F-150 or something.
And we weren't, as if we were going to flee from the cops, which of course we weren't.
Yeah.
But more of them start coming over, and it becomes pretty clear that they're not thrilled about what just happened. That's understatement. They were very, very angry.
Right.
Because they just, I guess, and I understand it, they were just not used to this sort of assholery. If this was a dental clinic in Santa Monica, you have to expect half a dozen TikTok assholes are going to come make content out of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Guys, you look like Austin.
Yeah.
You have to expect there's going to be some social media douchebag who crashes it. Or some
100%.
ditzy OnlyFans girl
Oh, yeah.
who wants to poke her big nose in thinking it's going to be like, I want to have a cause. Remember during BLM, there was a fucking clip that went viral of a girl popping out of her car taking a drill from a Mexican guy and pretending to drill plywood over a burned out jewelry store.
I remember that.
Her boyfriend took a picture of it, then she gave the drill back to the Mexican guy and got back in the Mercedes.
Right. I remember that.
See, they aren't used to that sort of behavior, though, out in Appalachia, however you say it. And so, they were pretty upset. And the cops took us into the station, and I erred on the side of being pretty honest. My dad always told me that if you get in trouble for a serious crime, if you were driving drunk, if you got into a fight and somebody got seriously injured, shut your mouth. Mm-hmm. They will use whatever you're saying against you. Let a lawyer the next day at 9 a.m. with a cup of coffee in him decide how he's going to represent the facts. Don't make that decision there on the scene when you're fucking emotional and perhaps drunk. But with us, we figure that everything we do is it's such a slap on the wrist kind of offense that if I'm just honest with the cops and treat them like humans, basically every time in the past they've let us go. So I tell the officer, and apparently there wasn't much he could do about it. The officer was very nice. Impersonating a medical professional, even though we said we were amateurs, is still a felony in the state of Tennessee.
Yes.
So next thing I know, I have cuffs slapped on me. I am led out of the building by the SUV that Leo and Nico are waiting in. They probably thought I was going to come out and go, "Hey, boys, fire up the car. We're going to Kentucky."
Right.
But instead, I come out cuffed, 2 police escorting me into their SUV. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, they came over to you and said he might do 3 to 5 years in jail.
Right.
Whoa.
They told us that the felony carries a 3 to 5 year jail sentence, and I'm like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And you had your phone still somehow with your handcuffs on. You texted me like a final message from the car.
I was texting in the car because that was my last chance, and I didn't realize how much my last chance it was going to be. I still thought this whole thing was a slap on the wrist, and I was going to get into the jail, and that they were just going to be like, "Yep, we just had to process you. It's a technicality. You're free to go."
Right.
So I'm texting, but not as aggressively as I should be texting. Mm-hmm. I should have been texting my dad. I should have been texting you guys. I should have been looking up local lawyers, but I wasn't. I mean, what was my final text to you?
Final text, I can bring it up if you want, but it was something like, "Hey boys, I'm going to the station. Follow." I think you said it's like follow, come follow us, or get in and make sure. Man, I might as well bring it up because it's pretty.
No, it's not that important.
What's up, boys and girls? Me and Fez here have been attending a lot of comedy shows, and we like to have a couple of drinks when we're at those comedy shows, right?
That's right.
That's why I wanted to tell you guys about a pre-alcohol drink called Z-Biotics. Now, I'm going to read you what it is exactly from their mouth, so you know that I ain't BSing you. Your first drink of the night for a better tomorrow. Engineered by a team of PhD microbiologists, Z-Biotics is a probiotic drink that breaks down the byproduct of alcohol, which is responsible for rough mornings after drinking. All right, so step 1, you have your Z-Biotics. It's before, I've been taking it before, and thank you, Z-Biotics, for sending me these because they are, I'm feeling very, very good in the morning. For best results, it's the first drink. All right. So I take it before I go to these comedy shows. I drink probably 2 nights a week whenever I have my comedy shows. And the other thing is, I have to say also is we're not talking about, having this. This isn't going to do anything if you have 35 beers. This is when you have 4 tequilas, drink responsibly, and you're feeling like, you might have something, you might not feel like yourself in the morning, but this is making me not really feel the effects of the night before's drinking at all. And then I'm feeling refreshed in the morning. So listen, it's backed by science. You can check it out on their website if you'd like. But after a night of drinks, I don't bounce back like I used to, Fez. You know what I'm saying? So Z-Biotics has kind of become part of my new routine. And I urge you guys to try it out. It's something that, helping if you want to support the pod, supporting the people that, support us, like Z-Biotics, is a way to help us out. So please do it. Now, there's a great deal. Labor Day weekend is right around the corner. So make sure that you stock up before the long weekend. Your friends and family will thank you. All right. And also, the Halloween's coming up, and I know you guys like to party for Halloween, so try to stock up on some Z-Biotics. Tell me what you guys think, because for me, it's a world of difference. All right. Now, they have a good deal for you guys. Go to zbiotics.com/LDS to get 15% off your first order when you use LDS at checkout. All right. You can also sign up for a subscription using my code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. Z-Biotics is backed with 100% money back guarantee. So if you are unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/LDS and use the code LDS at checkout for 15% off. And thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring the pod. It's a good product. You guys need to check it out. It helps me tremendously.
Guys, it's gonna be an amazing product.
And I gave you one, dude. What'd you think?
Yes,
How did you feel?
good.
How did you feel in the morning?
It was refreshing.
Hell yeah. Peace.
So I walk into the jail with one of the officers, and we're joking around. It's not a big deal. When they're booking me, I'm joking around with a lot of the people in there, too. I'm helping the lady who's doing my fingerprints. I'm helping her with it. We're joking about how inefficient this fucking 1990s computer is.
Right.
It seems so light. I think they're just going to let me hop on a phone, call a local lawyer, swipe a credit card to pay the bond. But at some point, they're like, all right, strip naked and put on these oranges. And I was like, okay.
Jesus.
I'll put on the orange. And then they're like, give us your phone and give us all your possessions. I take all that. I'm like, okay. And then they're like, oh, yeah, get in that cell. So I get into a cell. It's right by the counter, the front counter where they book everybody. And it's just me in there. And so I still kind of think like, hey, can I make a phone call in a second? I get out and I make a phone call. I only have 3 minutes to do it. And every minute it says, you have 2 minutes remaining. So that ratchets up your heart rate. I call my dad. I tell him what's going on. He's at work and he's fucking furious. He's like, Jesus, Danny, I'm in court right now. What's going on? But I tell him, this is what I tell him to do. Because I said, I understand if you don't want to deal with it. Please, because I don't have Leo or Nico's number memorized. Please tell my sister to direct message Leo, which hopefully she hadn't been doing before this.
No, she hasn't.
Because I will smack you
She
around.
wasn't. She was not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, have her DM Leo
Yeah.
and tell him that if he could find a local attorney or a bail bondsman to spring me, that would be great. Right after I make that call, I asked the lady at the front desk, what is my bond, by the way? She says, she pulls it up on the computer. You have no bond. They haven't assigned you one. And I go, what does that mean? And she's like, it means you're going to be here until Monday when they arraign you.
This was Thursday. Oh, my God. Thursday. That's 4 days in jail?
Yeah.
Now, and then, now I'd love you to get into the details of what the jail was like, because I heard a little bit and it freaked me the fuck out.
You want me to get into the needy?
And the greedy.
Oh, shit, dude. So, I'm chilling in the one-person cell for a little bit. And reality hasn't really sunk in.
Right.
I think that my bond is going to pop up on the monitor. It's going to be $5,000 or something, which bond do you get back? What if you attend all your court dates, the bond comes back to you. So I'm like, I can just swipe my credit card. It'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
I'll be out of here. I'm very optimistic waiting for that. An hour goes by. 2 hours go by. 3 hours go by. One of the officers comes and opens my cell, and I go, oh, hell yes, here it is. And he says, Mullen? And I'm like, yeah. I'm taking you to the back. I go, what? I ask him again, do I have a bond yet? And he says, nope, no bond. And I say, is there any chance an attorney can spring me out of here before Monday? And he just goes, I don't think so, man. I think you're going to be here until Monday.
And you know what? They ended up telling me why that was. It was because they deemed you a very high flight risk.
Really?
Yes. They thought because you were from California and a fucking, I don't know, a real big-time YouTuber, you were going to get out of there and flee the state.
Wow. Flee the country, maybe.
Flee the country, maybe. So yeah, continue.
I was not a flight risk, and I just wanted to pay the bond and then deal with things as usual. Well, they're taking me into the back of the jail, and right then it hits me that, like, hey, I'm actually probably going to be here for 4 days in this jail. And we get into the back area. There's a circular hallway. And every 50 or so yards in this big circular hallway, there is an enclosure not for animals, but for humans. There are common areas. There's about 6 of them in total. And prisoners are in there mingling around. And then all the cells are in those common areas, but they were at the moment out and about milling. And I see now, like, oh, shit. I thought it was bad in my own little private cell. They're now introducing me to the general population.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my little asshole, I realized, was in jeopardy.
Oh, yes.
And this was Eastern Tennessee, people. This was not Beverly Hills. This wasn't Folsom, California, San Francisco Bay Area. Though I'm sure all of those jails probably have a lot of fucked up people in them, too.
I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, L.A. County just got a bunch of lawsuits levied against it for being a terrible place to be incarcerated.
Yeah, our boy King Croc, dude. Remember that story? He slept in the shower, and we were like, are you sure you weren't high on something? But sure enough, that's what they're getting sued for.
Well, it was pretty bad here, too. So they open the door, and I'm faced with like 40 guys, all in oranges, all white. They put me in with the Aryan Brotherhood.
Jesus.
Just kidding. I don't know if any of these guys are not.
Who knows?
But I walked into that room, and I thought right away, okay, I'm going to be here for 4 days. Thank fuck I know jujitsu. Because I cannot imagine being like, Austin, you would imagine going to prison, how terrified you would be.
Oh,
Dude.
Or jail. Jail.
I would need to like shave my head.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like before I even got in there.
I mean, you need to really join the Aryan Brotherhood. And
Yeah.
maybe suck someone's cock in order to save your asshole.
I can always get the tats covered, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
They have good like removal now. They take most of the tattoo off, but
Yeah, it'd be worth it.
continue.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Austin, I would have just fallen to my knees and opened my mouth the second I walked into that enclosure.
100%. Yeah.
But I get in there, and I'm just trying to smile and look confident because I watched a documentary on prison once where they said that was important, to look confident. So I go in there, but I mean, part of me is like, this is so fucked.
Yeah.
Here we go. And then there is comfort right away because one of the guys in the enclosure, the big common area, recognizes me from YouTube. He's like, is that fucking Danny Mullen, dude?
Yeah.
He wasn't Mexican. I don't know why I said that.
It was such a small town that I ended up going to the Burger King next to the hotel, and I found his brother, who he had a contraband phone.
So let me explain
Yeah.
this. So the guy that recognized me was a striped suit kind of guy, they call it. Like he worked for the prison. He had a special suit that was striped instead of pure orange, and he helped with the laundry, he helped deliver meals. So they gave him privileges, one of which is he gets a phone that has no internet access as far as browsing the web. You can't make calls on it, but you can text.
Right.
So he immediately is super cool to me, and he texts his brother, I guess, that Danny Mullen is in there.
Right.
And then you happen to be at the Burger King that his brother works at.
Yep.
And those two things are happening at the same time.
Yes.
You meet the brother in Burger King. I meet the other brother in jail.
Yeah, it's insane. But there was that small of a town where I just like ran into the guy. So I'm communicating with Danny through this guy's brother in the jail. But
Yeah.
then continue.
And I text my dad, which I realize is a bitch boy little thing to do. But fuck you. I mean, if I can take advantage of your connections.
Who else would you have called? I mean, you didn't have a lawyer. I mean,
I'm going to call my dad. I want out of here.
you had to call your dad.
I text my dad because, we had content to shoot that weekend, and I didn't want to spend 4 days in jail.
By the way, shout out to Dylan. That was the kid that worked at Burger King. That's the brother of
Robbie, the kid in jail that I met.
Yeah, Dylan and Robbie, we love you guys.
Dylan and
Fans of the
Robbie.
channel.
You guys are
are awesome.
You like him, Fez?
Fez.
Oh, they would have had a
Awesome.
fucking ball with you in jail. Buddy.
Oh, yeah, dude.
They would have
no way.
You
man.
wouldn't be a virgin anymore, I'll tell you that much.
You wouldn't, yeah. I mean, they haven't seen a set of tits like that since they were on the outside.
Okay, continue, my friend.
So once I meet this guy, Robbie, everybody in the jail is super cool. The young guys were all like making super funny gay jokes and just fratty. They basically had the sense of humor that a lot of our fans have.
Dope, yeah.
Like the guy Robbie was scrolling through some pictures of him and his ex-girlfriend, and then he scrolled to one with just him in his suit looking chipper. And then this random guy who looks like a criminal walks by and says, "That's the day Robbie came out of the closet." Just like they're just making jokes like we would, just fucking around.
Yeah.
And even the old guys who were like in their 50s and 60s, that like I was showering because I wanted to shower. There's like, you better hurry up. We only have 3 hours in the communal area every day. And then you're locked down for 21 hours in your cell with just your cellmate with nothing to do. So they're like, you better hustle up and take a shower.
How big was the cell?
Well, the shower, I'll get to the cell, but the cell is the size of this room, like half of this room.
8 by,
tiny.
like 10 by 10 or something? Or?
It's hard for me to say exactly, but I mean, it's your bunk bed is half the length of it and about half the width of it. So it's not much bigger than just your bed. And I'll get more into the cell, but I shower and people can't see your cock. I have a bit in my stand-up right now about getting raped in the prison shower, and now I have a completely new take on that because I had to take a shower in jail. And, it's really the dropping the soap thing is what everybody makes a big deal about. But, I mean, at some point, like, when I got out of the shower, I had to dry off my shins, and I realized, like, hey, I'm just as vulnerable drying off my shins as I would be dropping the soap. So
it's a concept.
Yeah, there's really no relief from rape threat when you're... I mean, like if you want to dry your shins off, you're just as vulnerable as dropping the soap. But I'm in there, and the shower, it's up to your nipples, the cement wall that surrounds it, so it's kind of nice. Your dick isn't visible, which for me wouldn't be good. I'm next to like some 60-year-old guy who's just super nice, like giving me the lay of the land. Like, yeah, the judge is actually pretty cool here. And I found out the judge was cool on Monday. And then I met my cellmate, this guy, Greg. And Greg was like in there for heavy narcotics, or methamphetamine, if that is a narcotic. And I met him, and he is just a Southern or Appalachian meth guy. That's what he did. But he was nice to me, and he showed me the lay of the land. And once we got locked down, I realized it was going to be me and old Greggy for the next 4 days for 21 hours a day.
So you were kind of like getting mentally prepared to stay for 4 days?
Yeah. Well, I was optimistic that I would get out, but I was also like, hey, if you got to strategize for what's to come.
Yeah.
And at first I was strategizing like, okay, what do I do if Greg attacks me at 2 a.m. in my bunk? How am I going to be ready to fend off that attack? And again, dude, like if you don't know jujitsu and you're locked in a cell with a 50-year-old guy who's there for heavy drug crimes, like how can you be confident you're going to be safe?
Right. You can't.
Like, I don't know how close the officers are to your cell. I don't think they're very close at all.
No.
So if he just attacked you or tried to rape you, like he's going to have probably a few minutes before anybody arrives.
Right.
And you're asleep.
Right.
So that's what the scariest part about it was, how claustrophobic it was. You're locked up with a guy who is there for drugs. You don't know if he's dangerous or anything. He just says he's there for drugs. But yeah, that was fucking scary, dude. And knowing that I would be there for 21 hours a day and there was nothing to do. There's no TV. One of the guys, again, they were super cool, all the guys in the enclosure. One of them gave me a book, which was some like 1960s Western. So I actually was pretty hyped on that. I'm like, at least I got that.
Yeah.
The toilet is about me to Fez right now, which I don't know if we can see that on the cameras. It's about 3 feet. So if I was going to take a shit, I would have to be squatting while pretty much making eye contact with my cellmate Greg while I took a shit and wiped.
Jesus.
Just right in front of him.
Soap? They have soap in there?
Yeah, you get a bar of soap. But your bed. So my bed is, first of all, it's covered in grime and like pubic hair. Like the iron part of the bed. Not covered, but I see a lot of grime and I see multiple pubic hairs. Or body hairs, I don't know.
What kind of light? They had like a fluorescent light in there or something?
The light is, it's really unflattering, real bright, and you can see, the remnants of the guy who was in there before you. And the mattress they give you is pretty much like a pool toy that's been deflated. It offers no real padding. I mean, it's not even... It's probably about as soft as if I slept on this carpet that our feet are on.
Jesus.
Not great.
So you're not sleeping much.
Yeah. I actually slept okay. I woke up a lot. Another problem is they don't completely turn the light off at night. They just dim the light. So which science has proven that you sleep best in a pitch dark room, and if there's any light at all that's going to fuck with your sleep. Well, if you're in prison, I guess you're never getting a good night's sleep because that light doesn't go very low.
That's what. Yeah, I don't want to compare that to The Bachelorette, but they did have these giant lights that they would turn on at 8 a.m. and then turn them off at 4 a.m. And that was designed to keep you from sleeping much because the sleep deprivation is a big part of the reality show game.
Great.
To kind of But anyway, continue. Sorry.
That's insane, but
It's fucked up, huh?
yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so it was only off for 4 hours.
Yeah, bro. We could only sleep about everybody, and we would all. The only time we were off mic was those 4 hours, so we would talk like for at least an hour of that. So
Yeah.
everybody, basically, nobody was sleeping.
Yeah. Well, at least in jail, they pretend they want you to get a healthy amount of sleep. I think they're shut off for 7 or 8 hours. The lights are dimmed for 7 or 8 hours. But me and my cellmate Greg, until like midnight, are playing one-on-one blackjack, which isn't very fun if you've ever played it.
Yeah.
He was like, I gave him, the guy Robbie, who was a fan of the channel, because he worked at the jail, he gave me a bunch of snacks. I just gave them all to Greg because it was like hot jalapeno Cheetos
Jeez.
and top ramen and a Hostess cracker cake.
Wow.
That I am not yet desperate enough to eat.
Yeah.
I did eat the prison food the next morning. I'll tell you about that. But I wasn't desperate enough to dive into this shit yet.
It is wild how unhealthy the commissary choices are in jail. It's like all just stuff that'll make you die faster.
It was pretty bad. I mean, the stuff that came out in the morning was a little bit better than that. But yeah, I mean, that stuff was... And that's like, that was so many guys, because I just kind of passed that stuff out because the guy Robbie gave me so much and I didn't really want it. They react to that like you would react, Austin, to a big titty Asian girl who liked anime.
Well, typically it's recommended not to give people stuff like that. I mean, you're only staying a few days, but if they see that you like are someone that would just give something away, that's when people start trying to like use you for shit.
Yeah.
You're not really supposed to give anybody anything.
Well, I mean, you would know, Austin. You've done hard time. I mean, you're probably right.
I'm just trying to
right.
stay prepared so whenever I get locked up, I
You're
don't
fucked,
immediately get raped.
You're
God.
so fucked. You're probably right. But I wasn't going to be there for that long, and I didn't really care that much. And if anybody wanted to try anything on me, fucking bring it on, cocksucker. But I also just wanted my cellmate to like me. So I wake up constantly because your hips start going numb from the lack of padding. And I don't know, I think if you have some money, maybe you can improve your bedding, but the standard options are not great for the comfort level. But I have a fitful night of sleep. I end up sleeping in till like 9 a.m. They put in a tray of food. The cell slot opens, 2 trays come in. Peas, oatmeal, pretty sugary, 2 pieces of white bread, Wonder Bread, I think, and maybe something else that I can't remember.
No coffee.
No coffee. They don't let you have coffee there.
Oh my God, I'd be dead.
That
have a
was
headache.
the most disappointing thing.
I'd have the caffeine headache at around 11, 12.
And also, I wanted the coffee to be able to time my shits for when we were in the common area and my cellmate was out of the cell.
Right.
Dude, I was so afraid to shit in front of Greg. Like, just to be locked in a room with a guy who's just looking at you while you move your bowels. You're facing him.
I wouldn't be able to shit. It'd probably take you like a while before you'd be able to shit comfortably like that. I mean, I'm sure you'd get used to it. But
Yeah, you get used to everything. But, I'm the king of taking wee-wees on command anywhere.
Right.
Not the king of taking shits on command anywhere. That's not my thing. That's Nico, dude.
You did take a shit in Fan Jerry's car, though. That was really impressive. How the hell did you do that?
You raise a good point, Leo. I'm not too sure.
That was impressive.
Sometimes I was the mother whose son was run over by a minivan, and I found the strength in myself to lift the tires.
There it is.
Just came from a deep, deep place.
For the video, yeah.
I'm just sleeping in because my sleep quality was so bad that night that I ended up just taking naps up until 9 or 10 a.m. after going to bed at like midnight. But it did start to occur to me then, like, dude, what if they just do not fuck around in Eastern Tennessee and this thing that you think was clearly a joke and not a big deal lands you in jail for a year or two? What if you don't get out of here?
Look, the whole everything that happened to you has changed my completely kind of idea of the justice system. Like I'm a lot more afraid of it, especially in other states. I'm kind of very happy that I'm in LA where they don't give a crap about little things.
Yeah. We could talk more about that too, about how it's made us appreciate some of the ultra left-wing district attorneys that we've skewered in past videos sometimes because, maybe we've gotten away with a lot of stuff in videos out here because of them and because of our very permissive attitude toward crime here. So,
Right.
I mean, it's not great if you're trying to raise a family, but if you're a jack-off YouTuber like you and I, it's kind of a good thing.
It's kind of a great thing.
Right, Fez?
That's right.
Thank you. I need a contribution from Fez every now and then.
And a pillow. There was no pillow.
No pillow. I was using a towel.
So were you fairly confident that I was going to be able to get you out the next day?
I was 50-50. But when the door opened and an officer strolled in, I was like, okay, this is it. And he didn't know my name was scrawled probably hastily on some paperwork. And he said, Mullen? And I was like, Mullen? And he's like, yeah, Mullen, you're out of here. Whew. Dude, the relief. Just the relief. I knew the issue wasn't over. I knew there was going to be more stuff I had to do.
Right.
But just the freedom to walk out of the jail and at least see the sky again.
Yeah.
Because I guess they can only go outside once a week to play basketball. So you're mostly indoors there.
Indoors, no sunlight.
Yeah, I get. This is what I'm told. I know I didn't experience it firsthand, but that's what somebody said. So just being out was such a relief, and I was like, I know this isn't resolved, but the resolution seems far enough away. I have until Monday to just be a free man,
right,
and to be able to sleep on a nice hotel bed and take showers in private.
And we needed to do 2 videos, and we still had 2 videos to film.
Oh yes.
The process of getting him out was a little terrifying because there was no way to get in contact with anyone when he went to jail. Every law office was closed. Then I start kind of asking locals questions, because seemed like there was a lot of places we didn't have reception in Virginia, in Tennessee. And what we ended up finding out is asking people, the locals, is the best way to go in those states. So I asked 2 locals who in the Burger King, and they're like, dude, man, don't use any lawyers around here, man. And my buddy, he paid $10,000 and then he's in the jail for 3 years for a minor offense, man. You got to get somebody in another county. So I'm starting like, what the fuck? Where are, I'm freaking out. Like, this is insane. Like, this could be worst case scenario. This is going to end up being one of the craziest stories ever. Then our boy, Dylan, he starts talking to his brother from Burger King.
Talks to Robbie, who was locked up with me.
Gives us a lawyer in town who was one of the top Google options for the town.
Yeah.
So obviously, we left Nico, got a little tipsy, of course. Very, very stressed out at night, got tipsy.
Nico got hammered in response to me getting locked up.
Nico got so blacked. He didn't even remember talking to anybody at Burger King. It was wild. And he was like shaking the locals' hands. Anyway, he's blacked. So I just every law office in town was opening at 8 a.m. So my goal was I'm going to get up before 8 a.m. and start making phone calls right at like 7:45. And literally the guy's card that we got from Robbie in jail was the first phone call, and I got talked to the receptionist. So I woke up the next morning early, and I called the guy that we were recommended. The receptionist put me through to him. He wasn't in the office, but he was out working on a sailboat.
And they when they knew that we had money to pay,
yes,
they were very eager to help, because probably a lot of people in counties like that call up and they don't.
Right.
They're not going to be able to compensate the attorney.
Right.
But when they found out that, like, hey, we need serious representation, we have money to pay for it, we got through pretty easily to the attorney.
And the good thing about the local guy, which of course I spoke to Danny's father on the phone the night before, and he was just telling me how, the system works out. If you can get a local guy that knows people, that's a lot more advantageous to you.
Yeah.
So this guy made a phone call or 2, and there was bond set. There was a bail was set.
So my attorney set the bond. He got the bond set. That's great. Yeah. Okay, that was the first part of getting out.
That was the first part of getting out. As soon as you had that, then it was a. Can we talk about how much it was? I think that might have been in the article. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I think it did say bond was $5,000.
Yeah. So it was $5,000, which if you ever know anybody that's been arrested, that's a pretty high bond, right? I mean.
I don't know. I see so many celebrities get arrested in the LA Times and their bond is like $200,000 or something like that. So
I thought it would be more actually.
Yeah.
If people don't know how a bail bondsman work, though, it was a really cool experience for me in a way, because I learned everything about the system and how it all works. And Nico was thinking that like you had to pay the bond. I
kind of thought that too.
Yeah, a lot of people
Google how it worked before I got there.
A lot of people think you have to pay the bond, but how it works is if you go to a bail bondsman, or if you have $5,000, let's say if you had $5,000 cash, right? Like if I had it on me or something, I could give it to the court, or could give it to the courthouse, I guess, or whoever
jail.
Yeah, I think the jail, whatever, and then they release him, and then they give it back to you when he attends court. But, we went through a bail bondsman and said, which was at the recommendation of your father, he was like, yeah, just go to the bail bondsman. And then they get because he was out of state, it was 15%, which is like $800 that Danny ended up having to pay. So then they give the money to the court, and then they get it back when he attends.
The bail bond people get it back.
The bail bond people get it back when you attend court. So that was in set, and then it was very quick after that. I think we ended up getting you out at like 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was off to the races, man. And then you want to talk about like the remainder of that, or should we go into like what happened on this trip? Because there's a lot of crazy stuff.
I said we take it chronological through the trip a little bit because I got out of jail, and again, it was one of the sweeter moments in recent memory. Just the feeling of being free after not being sure at all when you're going to get out of a cell with a guy who's in there on drug charges, right, Fez? Yeah, pick up that mic. Say something in response.
Yes.
Thank you. So I walk out. Our first meal is Subway. I give Nico my order, and he does something neeksy to it. He hasn't put some fucking condiment on it or some orange, and it just tastes like shit. So that kind of ruins my.
Yeah.
You know, fucking Neeks, dude.
Neeks, dude. He was just like freaking out. Like, oh, I don't want you to be stressed. I don't want you to be stressed.
It's just Nico. He insists he eats clean on the road, but when he he insists he eats clean at home. But when he's on the road, he has a diet a few pegs below Fez's.
Yeah, he drinks Coca-Cola. He eats fries, fried food everywhere we go. Fries and a burger. He eats. He's got a lot of mayo on his sandwiches.
A lot. It tasted like he put mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup. Yeah, ketchup on the Subway sandwiches. And can you put some sugar on it too? It was just this wet, slimy, like sweet.
Yeah.
And so that kind of killed my experience. But I'm free. We get in the car. We drive up to Kentucky, and we stay at one of the nicer hotels in Pikeville, Kentucky, which isn't saying much. But I needed a decent bed to sleep in, right, Fez, after that experience?
That was a horrible thing.
So we kind of, it was wild. We kind of took Friday off.
Yeah.
And then we had to cancel the show because of the court date. There was no way we could go to Nashville and
we were
going to
do a stand-up show in Nashville. Yeah.
We were going to make a stand-up show in Nashville. So yeah, to kind of get his bearings back, Danny wanted to kind of chill on that Friday. So we were in Pikeville, Kentucky, which was probably the nicest place in the area that we
Yeah, it was the biggest city we stayed in, which wasn't saying much. They had a nice university, and they had basically all the modern conveniences: Walmart, Texas Roadhouse, Bevmo. Maybe not a Bevmo, but there was like a shopping center there.
Yeah, which was, guys, in these little towns on the in West Virginia and along the Appalachian or in that area, there was not much, guys.
Fed, every time he walks by, just makes eye contact with me and gives me a nod. Like, later, brother.
Dude.
So we fucking eat, sleep, and then we get filming. And the next day, one of the first people I see on the side of the road is just this guy who looks completely aimless.
Yeah.
And I go and say, "Hey, man, you need any help or anything? We're trying to shoot a video. We want to know if you want to talk to us on camera." And he's like, "Can you all give me a ride down the road a little bit?" And I said, "Fuck yes. We will give you a fucking ride."
This guy was, again, we always think God intervenes and helps us out in videos, and this was one of those moments where he was placed there by God.
He just got released from jail, too, for meth charges.
14 months. He did 14 months.
And he keeps referring to methamphetamine as his get up and go.
It's like, I was on that get up and go. And
he had a softer voice, right? He's like, I was on that. It's my get up and go. I need it.
Dude, this guy was unbelievable. You're going to see him in the video. We had a lot of amazing moments with this guy.
Yes. So that's when I'm like, fuck yeah, I forget about all the legal troubles. For now, we're in deep Appalachia with Eddie, who is... We thought he was going to take us to his aunt's house. We thought we were taking him to his fucking relatives the whole time.
He swindled us a little bit. He was like, "I'm going to visit my aunt. She's a real God-fearing woman. She probably don't want to be on camera, though. She's real boring. She ain't going to have to say much." And
then he directs us, unbeknownst to us, directly to the little town where his dealer lives.
Right.
And we're just like, "Oh, Eddie, you just took us so you could buy more Get Up and Go." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I just got out of jail. I need some." We're like,
14 months clean, and he wanted to get right back on the old meth.
Dude, and like,
oh my God.
Hopefully, because it seemed like he was looking around, we can only hope he didn't find drugs.
Yeah.
I hope, because it seems to me that if you're clean for 14 months, and you are, like, I talked to my cellmate who was in there for drug charges, unless somebody brings it in up their ass, and if they do that, if they're that desperate to sneak drugs into the jail, they're not sharing any with anybody
Hell
else.
no. So,
I mean, maybe in some jails, guys can get access to drugs, but it didn't seem like this one. It was very possible. And Eddie, our hitchhiker, said he was clean for 14 months pure.
right. And he told us that it was a lot harder to get off pills than it was the meth. He said the withdrawals, not that bad.
Yes, Sudafed. They kept talking about Sudafed out there.
I think that's how you make meth. Pretty sure.
Yeah, that is.
But some of them were just taking it straight up too, I guess. It sounded like they were just popping. I don't know. I don't know. But Eddie, he fucking swindled us, it seemed, into taking him back to. And it was a big town, so it's not like it was that, like we took him to his dealer's front doorstep or something. But it just, we wished the best for Eddie, and we felt a little duped.
Yeah, we felt a little duped. The last the last image of Eddie he was with a family, so maybe he was looking for somebody. He was looking for a girl that he used to have a little fun with. She's married, but they do the old get up and go together. But then there was a really funny moment that's going to be in the video when we found his old house. Too.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to say about that. But
yeah, I mean, the house he got arrested in, we show up and it's completely burned to the ground.
Oh, shit.
And we do a bit where we're like, nah, it's not that bad. You just need a little kitchen revamp, and I can already see it right now.
It's just a cosmetic fixer, Eddie. This is just no. But his reaction was just like, yeah. And if you just pull up and look, this is where I used to live. This is my house. Look, what happened to it? It was unbelievable.
And he rented it. It wasn't like his family home or anything, so it
right.
wasn't that tragic. He was probably living there with other get up and go users.
Right.
But that was burned down. But then we just kept it going. I feel like there's, people are going to see most of this in the video, so I say we skip ahead. I mean, we met a really cool coal miner.
Yep.
We met a guy with a cherry picker truck.
Yep.
With an insane laugh.
Yeah.
We went swimming at a local pool.
Oh yeah.
With a bunch of local Appalachians.
Public pool. Yeah.
And but then we got to Welch, which I think is maybe the worst town I've ever been in. And I know I've been in some bad towns.
Guys, if there's a worse town than Welch, is it West Virginia? Welch,
Yeah,
it's Welch, West Virginia. And by the way, are you calling West Virginia, Virginia? Like I made that mistake. Danny knew not to because, of course, he did more of his research than I did.
I'm just generally aware of which state I'm in most of the time.
Yeah. Fuck you. So this was the reaction of an old lady. I accidentally called Virginia. I called Virginia. I called West Virginia, Virginia, and this old lady was like, "Hey, this isn't. It's West Virginia. There was a war, right?" Like I'm like some kind of fucking idiot. Well, I kind of am, but so we're there. Welch, Virginia is the worst town it's got to be one of the worst towns in the United States.
We'll talk about
I don't know how much worse it can get.
Let's break it down. I can take a wee real quick.
Let's talk about Welch, West Virginia.
Well, we get recommended a restaurant in town.
Best place in town.
We even you would have found this food unappetizing, Fez.
Which
Really?
Yeah.
Try me.
Honestly, he might have not because like every gas station had there were gas stations that had like fried like pies. Did you see that? That was like a thing all over town.
One of the gas stations on the way to Welch, first of all, had the biggest Confederate flag painted on the side I've ever seen.
It was like, I don't know, like 2 stories. Yeah.
Just a massive Confederate flag on the gas station.
There was a lot of
That's a
Confederate
no-go
flags.
for me then.
Which is an aggressive choice. I mean, you're basically forfeiting all your black business if you have a massive Confederate flag painted on the side of your gas station.
Yeah, I would
Dude,
say.
one time though, I was on the lake and this boat pulls up with all these Confederate flags or whatever, and there was like 2 black guys on the boat. Me and my friends are like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
That is odd.
That's kind of interesting. I've been in a video shoot around like a Confederate flag waving group of people. And they were also like using the N-word with a hard ER, which is always the most suspect way to be. And they had like a black guy who kind of showed up later in their squad, but he looked very downtrodden. And I wonder if, I feel like if a black guy's on a boat with a bunch of Confederate flags, those guys are not equal in the crew. I mean, they're basically like, they're like the Rat Dick Ralph of the crew. I feel like it's their status.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I honestly don't understand the Southern culture, so maybe that's a thing.
we did speak to a black man in Welsh, Virginia, and he said that he was attacked and there was a lot of racism in town, and he was very, very scared. He said that there were towns along the way, like close by, that he said that people told him were sundown towns, where they would look for minorities at sundown to kill. And I was like, first of all, I could say that I don't know. I feel like crimes kind of would be harder to investigate in those places. I do believe that if somebody wanted to commit some kind of crazy crime, I mean, what did we see one cop in any West Virginia area? I feel we saw a cop car.
You would see cop cars parked outside of like questionable homes.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the cities, though, that you always see in the crime documentaries
Yes.
because they don't have a lot going on. So the cops are able just to invest like 3 years just trying to solve one case.
I see what you're saying, or an outside investigate, somebody from some other, like the FBI. What it's like, or I don't know about the FBI, but like some cop from another city can come and be on the case. And you're right, like I see what you're saying, but it did seem like there wasn't much to turn to in that town. Also, there was no reception in most of these towns.
That's tough to fight crime when you can't communicate with other police agencies.
Right.
They got radios, though. But to be fair, the kid we're talking about, who was super cool, he worked at a local gas station. He was from Tampa, a black kid named CJ.
Right.
He did when he told the story of getting jumped, and then he retold it again, and it came out that one of his white buddies started a fight, and then CJ jumped in,
Right.
which is not the same as a racially motivated jumping.
Right,
I just
right,
want to
right.
point that out. So I'm not saying that everybody in these towns is like an aggressive bigot.
It's also a bit different, like that kind of South, those states is quite a lot different than where I'm from in Houston. Like, honestly, the black and the Mexican guys outnumber the white people probably
Houston
where I'm from.
is very heavy on the minorities.
But you do
It's
hear
not-
those crazy stories where they'll, just pull up in a truck and,
That's what this guy was saying, that he was warned not to go to certain towns in the area.
And by the town that he said was a sunset town too,
Sundown, yeah.
sundown town. We talked to two ladies there who were just. I mean, they probably were they looked a little racist,
They did look racist,
but they were very nice. And I mean, you're pretty much a minority,
Yeah,
and they didn't say
I
anything
was-
snotty to you.
I mean, I kind of, I had a black friend who used to tell me about like this gaze that everywhere he would look, that everywhere he went, he would get like a certain, usually it was an older white man that would give him a gaze, right? And he would point it out to me. And I saw that, I saw that with my black friend back in, 2007 when I was at Valley College. But now, when I was in this town, I did get some looks. It was mostly, I'm wearing like these fucking flashy shirts and these cheetah print crap, and my hair, is up in a bun and shit.
What if Leo got lynched?
My God, dude.
That would be good for the video, though.
We went to
That would
a
be great,
restaurant,
yeah.
Honestly, I felt...
Let's talk about our dinner.
Let's talk about our dinner or our snack, too. Let's talk about the two meals we had. Because the hot dog, remember the hot dog, the first hot dog we had, where there was like this nice restaurant. Eddie took us to the nice restaurant down the street.
That wasn't in Welsh, but we had
wasn't in
a
Welsh.
terrible hot dog that was just smothered in.
Chili with and coleslaw and mayo.
And Nico, of course, loved it.
Yeah,
but,
I think he ate the whole thing.
But then
So compare that to like Los Angeles corn dogs that we had.
compare it to
Los
Angeles.
Compare it to Los Angeles.
He gets real interested in the conversation when you start bringing up.
Yeah, what the fuck, Fez? Where were you on the jail talk?
Fez, you should go and make your own video in West Virginia. I don't know if you're coming out of that state alive, dude, to be completely honest.
I would die the first day.
You were right, though. I think you were making this point before I talked about the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag. That was a slip of the tongue. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Yeah.
But the gas stations there, you're getting deeper and deeper into the South, where the options for healthy eating in the gas stations become scarce. Though the easiest way to see it, obviously some gas stations have like a produce stand in the back or have fresh sandwiches. That it goes without saying, none of that fucking exists in West Virginia.
Nope.
But also, it becomes increasingly hard to find a fucking bottle of water.
Yes.
In gas stations deep in the South, because like truck drivers roll up like, water? I don't need any H2. Give me my Mountain Dew and my Pepsi Cola.
Okay, like everyone had a soda at their, like all the locals, like anywhere you went, if they were like talking to you, they would take a swig of something. It was a Mountain Dew, it was a Coca-Cola, it was a Pepsi. They were just drinking it like we see people with their, their canteens here in LA, just like that, but it was
their
soda.
BPA-free water bottles.
Right, instead of
It's like
BPA-free
Airsoft
water.
Fatty Land. Like
It's
where he
Airsoft
lives.
Fatty Land, and we need to take that fucker to these places. That'd be unbelievable.
And that was what we originally documenting was like the exploitation by big soda companies and food companies of this area. But yeah, like if you want coconut water or if you want a Perrier, you're shit out of luck, Fez.
So-
Okay, but you, I mean, I know you would love to fucking shove a bag of Cheetos and like I don't know, a Dr. Pepper down
They
your
had
throat.
you know, that entire, like, they had all the Hostess products, you know, all those. But they had like sweets and chips. And the only option that me and Danny ended up falling, with the only option that we ended up feeling it was decent, I guess, was peanuts. So we had a lot of peanuts.
It's kind of funny because it's like you live in one of those small towns and you eat Hostess Twinkies and peanuts and smoke meth, and then you go to jail for smoking meth, and then you use your commissary money to get Hostess Twinkies and peanuts, and then you get let out of the jail,
Right.
and then you go to the gas station and you get more commissary from the gas station.
I want to make it clear that not everybody there smokes meth.
And also, it seemed like a system that was kind of, it was supposed to be like that, because what were the buildings that were not dilapidated in most towns? The hospital, for example. Like you would see these beautiful hospitals, modern glass and stuff, and you could tell that they were just peddling these poor people with these horrible options to eat.
Yeah.
When they start getting sick, they go, "Oh, let's make a little cash."
Yeah.
Here, get on these pills. Get on these pills.
You're
Get
so
on these
right.
pills.
You're so right,
It was
dude.
a system that they have down. The pharmaceuticals are like, yeah.
That's how they work. It's a team, dude. The big food companies feed people all this shit. And then these people who have health problems, Fez, I'm going to give you some tough love here. You're going to start having those health problems very soon.
Yeah, you might have to be on some pills at some point, just like
I
these
already
people.
am.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. You're
You
already
go
on.
and the doctor, you think they're going to say, try a paleo diet. Try to reduce your carbohydrates, your refined sugar, your refined grains. Of course not, because there's no money in telling you that. They're going to say, here's some Ozempic.
Right.
Here are some SSRIs to make you feel better.
Some
because
blood thinners,
Because when you can't get out and exercise and you're way overweight, you're chemically depressed.
Right.
So let's just hit them with this trifecta of pills, and that way, if big food keeps making money, big medicine keeps making money.
That is a much bigger problem than the meth problem.
Yeah, it was wild. And then, of course, the churches in town, some of them were dilapidated, but there were some churches that were pretty nice. So the only nice buildings in most of these towns were churches and hospitals.
Welch, West Virginia, we go in there. The waitress is very, very sweet, but we walk in on a Saturday night to the alleged best restaurant in town. And when I say that me, Nico, and Leo are the only souls in there, I mean there isn't even a fucking rodent scurrying around in the attic.
Yeah.
It's the three of us in a completely empty restaurant on Saturday night in Welch, West Virginia. And Welch is like, sort of looks like a decent-sized city. The downtown is all completely boarded up and closed,
Right.
but it was the biggest city we'd seen since Pikeville, which is 4 hours away.
They had 20, probably some 10-story buildings that were.
I don't know about 10, probably like
8.
3 or 4.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4, but
Yeah.
like right in that. But it was still like there were multiple.
Yeah.
but a lot of them were empty. And then see what you see is like these buildings when they used to have money. I guess like 100 years ago, right? I mean, you know more about history.
At the peak of coal mining, which was like the 1950s.
All right, so if the 50s there was money there, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of money.
Yeah.
I guess they said one of those towns. One of the locals told us that they had the most millionaires per capita at some point. When coal was big.
Yeah, I mean, when coal was still coal miners make good money.
Yeah.
But before the mechanization of coal mining, which took a lot of jobs away, and the environmentalism took a lot of jobs away. Fucking every other guy out there is 20 years old making $100,000 a year.
Right.
There's plenty of money to go around, and then the industry has declined since the 1950s. So now it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
Where me, Leo, and Nico are at the supposed best restaurant in town, eating food that looks like it's made of rubber.
And it's
Yeah.
crazy when you go to those real ghost towns because it's like whenever I would go on family vacations, what my dad likes to do is go to these old mining towns that just literally don't exist anymore. You can tell it used to be a whole city.
That's where we
basically.
were. That's where we were.
But
and I'll
then
tell
there
you
was,
this.
but now nobody lives there. Like
No,
it's
no,
actually,
Yeah, people still lived here.
And I'm going to say this. It probably one of the most interesting things I've done in a long time. Yes. It was so cool to go around these little places. First of all, the natural beauty of these places. It feels like it's Colombia or something. There are like vines growing on trees more than further than the eye can see. It's really mountainous. It's beautiful. Obviously it was really hot and humid, but it was like a really cool experience. Also, it was nice not to have reception on your phone. I was just like looking around the whole time, not fucking on Instagram.
Looking
sexting,
at
you
the
know
back of my head, like I guess his hair is long enough I can jerk off to.
But it was wild. I mean, was it in Welch where we stayed in a little motel?
Yes.
We found like a decent motel
Yeah.
in Welch. It had good reviews. There was a lot of bikers there.
There was an obese woman who ran the.
Stop that woman. I wanted to forget about her.
And Leo kept referring to her as an it, which was.
Okay, well, I said to Dan, it's probably the ugliest person I've ever seen in my life. I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, I'm going to describe this woman. It was a woman, you said, because of her voice, right? But
She was very nice, but yes, it was a woman.
I'm gonna have to hold my mic like this because it's falling off this. But so she was 450 pounds.
I can't deny that.
She
was bigger than Fez.
Okay, so she had like
She was bigger than Fez.
bigger,
right?
way bigger than Fez. Would have if it was a sumo wrestling match, you're out of that fucking circle quick, dude.
You're gonna have to commit
done.
seppuku too, dude.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't think you can kill yourself with seppuku because you got too big of a gut.
So this woman, okay, so she had a stomach that was like extended beyond like probably a foot and a half from her waist, and it had like chunks. So it was like indented. It was indented, and then she had not one. She had the 2 tits, but then there was a third chunk of fat that looked like 3 tits. Okay, so if you can imagine. Now, she was so fat that I saw her going up. There was like 3 steps to each little motel, like, little room. There were 3 steps. So she had to go one at a time. She was like cleaning these motels and she ran the place. And guys, she had a buzz cut and she had a beard.
Wow.
Fez, I think you should go out there and make a love connection, dude.
Dude, this woman it was obviously like some kind of, because of her obesity, maybe like there's hormonal changes and shit. Whatever happened to this one, I mean, I don't know how you could be uglier than this woman. She was a beast.
I saw the Inner Beauty. Yeah, I had my Shallow Hal moment where I saw her as a 115-pound cheerleader. She was very nice.
I'm sure she was nice.
She was
Did it make
very
you
helpful.
feel better about how fat you are, Leo?
It did. It made me feel a lot better. Dude, to be honest, I mean, everywhere I went, the women in that town were just, I was pretty much the most beautiful thing they've ever seen in their lives.
That's probably why the guys were giving you looks. They were just these fucking dudes from LA are gonna come here and fuck all my.
That's what the Tampa guy told me. He's like, man, if you hang around here another couple of days, some guy's gonna accuse you of running off with his chick, dude, and try to kill you. That's what the guy told me in the supermarket, and I was like laughing, but yeah, I was like, me and Danny. Danny was also, and we went to like the pool when we in this little town. We just like took it over, and there was this like these little like these children. They were like, Mom, you found yourself a husband, and it was pretty wild to be in this little town. But yeah, it was that person was the ugliest person ever. But that motel, just to give it some credit, was not bad. Good funny. Wi-Fi too.
Well, it was okay. It could have been better. But Austin, you bring up that lady made Leo feel good about his fatness. Mm-hmm. You did being out there. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Even being in jail was like one of the richer experiences of my life. Yeah, because you see not only all these people who don't have the advantages that we have. A lot of these guys, they would get locked up and they didn't have a single fucking soul in their life that they could count on. Yeah. They get that one phone call, and if they don't know the number of somebody who can help them at that moment, they're in jail until their trial. Right. And some of these guys were saying that was months even. Right. So that's made me rethink. In the past, I always thought it's like, hey, if you commit a fucking serious crime, you should be locked up. No gray area, tough on crime. Right. But now after seeing these guys who, if you or I committed the same crime, we would be out and fighting it right away. But because they are born into these families that they didn't choose, they are in there for months or years. Yes. And then also like during my court date, which I don't think we're going to talk about too much, there was a guy who went up there who was just like a humble Eastern Tennessee guy, and he just looked so sad, and he was on disability. I could see he had a limp, and he was about my age, and they asked him to pay $600 in like traffic tickets or some sort of fine, and he said he only drew $900 a month and therefore couldn't pay for it. Mm-hmm. And I just looked at this poor guy, and he just looked so without hope. Yeah. And just life had just kicked the fuck out of this guy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you could tell him to pick himself up by his own bootstraps, but like he doesn't even know the definition of the word boot.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect analogy, but some of these people are so they're just it's like I don't know, you're telling them to climb a mountain and they're born in the seventh ring of Dante's hell.
Right.
Like it just yeah, so I mean, just seeing all of that made me rethink, I guess, a lot of my big city snobbery.
Yeah, it was a humbling experience to see kind of that. I went in and sat in on the court, and it was, you got these guys, like you could tell they didn't really know how the system worked, you know. But like there were 5 guys lined up, and 4 of them were like representing myself. And it's obviously, it's like even assigned a public defender, you're gonna have a better chance at representing.
And they're free.
yourself.
And they're free.
Right.
Like, but it's just like these guys didn't have a
know
dad or haven't even had access to enough television to know that, like, always don't represent yourself in court. That's some guys were representing themselves, and there were guys up there that, like, one guy dropped a couple F-bombs on the stand, and you could just like see the court like, come on, dude. Why are you making this so hard on yourself? Like,
no doubt there was somebody in that jail that was spending years there that if they were here in LA, I'm pretty certain they would be kind of out in like a couple
the same
weeks,
crime.
right? For the same crime,
100%,
right?
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Tennessee, in Virginia, doing jail time for years.
Yeah.
That if they were here in the Los Angeles, they would not be doing jail time for.
You're so right. Yeah.
It's scary that they could just take a couple of years out of your life. I have a different outlook about, you know, the justice system. 100%.
I mean, in LA, I'm pretty confident that if I walked up to a cop and I just took a deep rip off a meth pipe and said, skeet, 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 motherfucker, and blew it out, like, I'm pretty sure I would be out the next day. Like,
100%.
If I even went to jail at all.
It'd be a misdemeanor.
If it wasn't just like, hey, get lost, kid.
Yeah.
It might even just be I mean, dude, in San Francisco, we saw, I mean, you can do fucking fentanyl on the street and the cops won't do anything.
Right.
So why, you probably, on second thought, I'm pretty confident that we could all go just like, we could do, instead of Edward 40 hands, like fucking Edward meth hands. and we could just be smoking meth in the tenderloin and not get in any trouble.
Damn.
Well, my cellmate got caught with some fucking meth on him, and that was it, dude. He's doing like a year.
Yeah, can you imagine getting, I mean, that doesn't even, it's not fair, number one. It doesn't seem fair, but I guess life isn't fair. But I mean, everybody was just like, yeah, they don't mess around here. This is Rogersville. This is Tennessee. This is Virginia. Everybody was used to these kind of ideas that you could just be put away for a year for a pretty minor thing.
And maybe, I mean, it's probably, if you're raising a family and stuff, I'm sure you're very grateful for that.
Yeah.
So it's a really complex thing. Just like every political issue, it's super complex.
Yeah.
Which is why I can't stand, I mean, it's Republicans and Democrats, but mostly it's Democrats that they can't even fathom somebody being a Republican because they see Democrat and Republican as good and evil.
Right.
Everything Republicans do is fucking evil. Everything Democrats do is good.
Right.
I can't stand that view of the world because it's so nuanced.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that we learned on this trip. Is one of them is, guys, you got to have an emergency fund. You know, an emergency fund. If you go to jail for something that you didn't expect to go to jail for, I think like you got 10 grand, I would say at least, right? Like to be able to like get yourself out of a funky situation.
Austin, you got your 10 G's ready to go? Faz, you got 10 G's?
Dude, I gotta pay rent tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
None of
broke
you,
as
like,
fuck.
nobody has 10 G. Not a lot of people have 10 G's to throw at a problem. But guys, that's
not what we threw at it. But
no, it's not what we threw. But we're still gonna have to do a tour for the legal fees, right?
What's that?
I mean, we're still going to do a tour for the legal
we
fees?
might do a little tour. But
little tour,
I mean, I paid my lawyer, and he did a great fucking job. And he's
did.
still doing a great job. But I mean, it's costly. If you want good representation to defend yourself, you got to have some fucking money.
Got to have some money, absolutely. So it was terrifying to think that my boy could have been thrown in jail for years for something.
So what happened with the actual court date?
I don't want to talk about that too much, just because I don't know if I'm allowed to. Mm-hmm. But I mean, things should be okay. It should be okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just not gonna get into it too much.
Okay.
But
there was a lot of anxiety before it, you know. I mean, I was joking around about being like, yeah, you know, what if this happens, what if that happens, and I had to stop doing that because it was kind of like insensitive of me to do that to Danny. So it was very serious. I can say that, and it was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
terrifying.
like at this point, are you still facing like possible jail time, or are you just trying to get it
We're not going to talk
expunged
about
at
it.
this point?
We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But let's talk about the fucking snake charming church.
Guys, I mean, I'm never going to forget this entire trip ever in my entire life, but maybe the most memorable stuff, and I'll put up a reel to tease this at some point, but we went to a snake charming church, and when we say snake charming,
Snake handling.
Snake
I mean,
handling,
they're sort of
whatever.
charming 'em.
I know, we keep saying charming, but like our boy...
Fucking
yeah, what's
Priyank.
Priyank, yeah, but snake handling, and when we say handling, it's rattlesnakes, guys. And these rattlesnakes had killed multiple members of this pastor's family, be it was his brother and his father, had died at the hands of a rattle.
At the fangs.
And he was still doing it. I mean, it was his life, and they truly believe that these snakes are in God's hands. And if they get bit, they don't really want to go to the hospital. They want to kind of die at the hands of a rattle.
It was insane. Like we get there, and Ian had reached out to these guys, and they'd given us permission, but I guess they forgot when we got there. So we show up with the camera. They're like, "You guys can't film here. We didn't approve this."
Right.
And we're like, kind of just like, "Please." And he's like, "All right, you can see the snakes." Just immediately.
It was kind of like if somebody came up to me and asked me to like, hey, can I film you taking a couple hacks in the old batting cage? And I'm like, no, man, I didn't give you any permission to come here and film. All right, fine. Yeah, I'll take some hacks in the batting cage.
It would be more like this. It would be like if a girl comes up to Leo, "Can I suck your dick?" "No, I sort of have a girlfriend." "Please." Zip.
Shut up, dude.
That would be it. That's really what it was like.
It's pretty. The guy wanted to show us what he can do. I mean, this was his life. You could tell it was like what he thought he was born to do, which was handle some rattlesnakes. Now,
He handled the fuck out of a rattlesnake, dude.
going into the room where they carry where they had the rattles, the first thing that you hear are the rattles.
The biggest rattlesnake I have ever seen in my life. Probably the most terrifying animal. I saw a lion at the Oakland or the San Francisco Zoo once that was maybe the scariest animal. This rattler was probably the second.
It was like this thick, right?
It was about that tall.
It was
off
about
the ground.
yeah, like this was the Austin. This is how it looked like a fucking anaconda.
It was
That's
about
crazy.
If
It
you
looked
measured
like
it
an anaconda.
if you measured it from the floor as it slithered along the floor to the top of its back was probably about 6 inches. Like the top of a beer can. It was that tall.
Yeah.
Just this massive. Leo's right. It looked like a constrictor. I'd never seen a rattlesnake this big.
Dude.
I guess
ever.
they were just feeding
They
it.
feed
a
it
lot.
all the time. The guy says, I get him rats. He strikes it, and I don't like to have them suffer, so then I take it out and I kill the rat, and I throw it back in there. But he won't take any frozen rats. He won't take anything, any other, nothing frozen, nothing besides rats. I throw rabbits in there sometime. He doesn't like rabbits.
And this snake killed the guy's dad and brother.
And he was still alive. And they truly, there's one passage in the Bible that they believe in, right? And
Yeah, it's a passage in Mark. Maybe you can look it up, Austin. Snake handling church passage Mark. There's it might only be like a sentence or two that they've based their entire religion around about handling serpents. Because most people think that, they think serpents in the Bible, they think about the Garden of Eden and the fucking serpent that had like Satan in it.
Right.
But these people do not view the snakes as satanic. They view them as vessels of worship.
Right.
And we get up there and it is here we go. And here's the passage, I guess. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In the name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them.
Wow.
They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover.
so they did everything. So there was another thing that they did in front of us. Danny was brave enough to taste this poison. But the guy, they were drinking something called
Strychnia, I believe.
Yeah.
But it was poison. And the guys, when they were preaching, they were holding candles up to their face to like burn themselves.
Right.
And they were ripping the strychnia, dude.
Yeah.
Just
like
hammering
shots,
it.
bro.
They would
Did you
save a
suffer
lot of
any side
lives if
effects
they
from the
just
poison?
learned what a metaphor is,
Holy shit.
like in school.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because
This is a metaphor. This isn't actually talking about drinking poison.
yeah. And now the thing that's funny about it from my perspective, going to Catholic church, the Catholic church, it's always like the positive message, like help people, be kind. And that was still the message, like it was help, your fellow man, whoever it is.
Well, they were very kind. We got to say.
They were so kind,
Yeah.
like unbelievably. And I have to say this: the pastor. You might think that this guy, like, for doing something like that, might be like a little crazy or something, but he was like a smart dude.
He let rip a couple anti-homosexuality rants.
That he sure did. We told him
Amen.
Nico might have been a little bit, on that side, and he's like, "Well, that's probably why you're having women troubles." Yeah, it was pretty classic. This guy was unbelievable.
Did you say amen?
Yeah, like as a religious people or homophobic.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. He fucking ripped. They really turned it up for the camera, though. Like, it was like an A+ performance. Yeah, they talked about global warming. They went on a global warming. They kept the homosexuality stuff relatively brief.
Right.
It was just like and homosexuality? No, the good Lord will not let this pervade.
Yeah, it was very much what kind of the performance of the pastor, though, was intriguing. Like, it was like he was a performer.
I mean, people are going to see it. It was amazing.
It was unbelievable.
But I think we should fucking, at some point here, get back to the nice flight home.
Well, God taketh and God giveth.
Yeah, he does.
So there was I'm gonna start the story because I met this woman.
Yeah.
But so me and Nico, Nico had a few drinks pretty much every night, and we're approaching. We got a 5-hour flight ahead of us, and Nico likes to have a couple of drinky poos, a couple 8% IPAs if you can find them. Before the flight. So I said, Nico, I kind of was like being like an older asshole brother to Nico the entire time on the trip. I was kind of like not bullying him, but I was kind of just, maybe I was talking about this little wee over a little too much. So I was like, Nico, let me.
You guys had a tense moment when I got locked up.
Yeah.
And you guys really got pissed at each other for a while.
Second.
Because of the stress.
Yeah. Because of the stress, yeah. I was like, Nico, shut up.
Well, Nico was getting very drunk this trip, much drunker than usual.
Yeah.
You were talking about his wee and being condescending toward him much more than usual.
Much more than usual, too.
Yeah.
So what happened? I was slightly annoyed because the night before, we have to try to get Danny out of jail the next day. I wanted to kind of have all my senses about me and just kind of focus on getting him out in the morning. And Nico got blacked. So I was like, dude, you're not helping me at all, bro. Like, I'm going to have to do this all by myself. It would be nice if I had you, because he's good on the phone. He's good. Like, he's from Orange County. He knows how to take care of business.
Yeah.
So I wanted him on the team that morning, but he was not going to do it. So I was like, all right, I'll take care of it. It's fine. I can handle it. I'll do it. But I was like a little annoyed that next morning, and that's kind of what that was. So Nico wanted to have a couple of drinky poos at the old, in the airport. And there's a nice, older, beautiful woman, 45 years old, had a nice jacket on. So I mentioned that, and we start chatting it up. Didn't think much of it, but then she tells me she's coming back down to L.A., and of course, Danny, whenever I speak to any woman, and it wasn't with the intention of like banging this chick, it was like, let me have a conversation with a woman at the airport. I'm bored. Who knows what may happen? So Danny passes by, and I know what he was doing. He was gonna do his usual, like, this, hey, you know him from The Bachelorette. What do you think about the sexual harassment allegations? That's his favorite move. It's his favorite move.
I always do that.
It's his favorite move. But my intention was, this chick's gonna like Danny Mullen. She was like a reader, an intellectual. So I was like, you should meet my friend Danny. And now to tell my side of the story before you can go into what happened. Danny was on one, man. He was very charming. He cracked she got drunk. She got drunk.
She was drunk.
She got drunk. Yeah.
And she was across the aisle on the back of the Southwest flight from us. She might have she was like A3. If you fly Southwest, A3 means you're the third person to board the plane.
Right.
Other than any Medal of Honor recipients or retarded kids.
Right.
So you could tell she fucking waited till we got on the plane to board because she wanted to be with us.
Right.
She goes down, sits across the aisle from us, and it's a very rowdy flight from Nashville. Everybody seems to be buzzed.
Great mood.
There's a guy, but I say very sarcastically that I'm A-list prefer. I am A-list on Southwest because we fly it so much, which means I board faster than everybody.
Right.
But I make a joke about that, and this one big dude, is like a big Southern guy, starts like trying to hate on me in order to score points with the fucking 45-year-old chick we got out.
Yeah. So Danny was fucking, like I said, he was on one. So he cracks a joke after joke after joke. She's like dying laughing.
Yeah.
She's dying laughing.
And most everybody is, but then the fucking fat guy gets like really threatened because because I'm making people laugh,
Right.
and like the chick in particular.
Right.
So yeah, he's like, well, I guess you would know because you're A-list, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
You're A-list, just trying to be a fucking hater.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show this piece of shit.
Yeah.
I turned to Nico. I say, hey, Nico, we're pulling a mid-season trade. I'm sending you over to the Baltimore Ravens. Trade seats with that lady. And he's like, what? And I'm like, go. So he fucking
She
gets
was
up.
happy to.
She just immediately switches seats with fucking Nico.
Yeah.
Before the lights even go down, we're making out.
Yeah, dude.
And the fat guy looks so pissed. He's like, ooh, and he's like, you could tell he's so angry. He
Right.
like wants to tell a stewardess.
Right.
Or like fucking do something to interrupt. And he keeps staring me down the rest of the flight too.
Yeah. It got hot and heavy, and this is where Nico said something about this that I also agree with. This is when something that 99.9999% of the population is never going to experience. Because Danny's, I'm not going to call it a wee-wee. I'm going to call it a cock, because that's what it was on
Thank
that
you.
plane. It came out of his pants, and there might have been a blanket involved, and Danny got jerked off by this broad on the old Southwest flight in the old back. So I'm going to give him a round of applause, boys. Let's give him a round of applause. Danny got jerked by a hot 45-year-old broad. I kind of orchestrated it by meeting her and thinking ahead, and then she was on our flight, and she made sure to like be in the back with us because I feel like she felt comfortable. But yeah, Danny, I mean, I saw something happen in front of my eyes. It's I didn't see his cock or anything, but
Thankfully.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised though that something didn't come of it. I mean, the light was dimmed.
Yeah.
I bought a blanket that flight. Thankfully I did because
Yeah.
it covered what was going on underneath.
Oh, yeah.
But I was watching to try to be inconspicuous because I didn't want to get thrown off the fucking flight, especially after my legal troubles.
Yeah.
I had my iPad in front of my eyes and I was watching the NFL Top 100, which is a countdown show of the best players that year. So I'm like, as I'm getting jerked off and I'm seconds from climaxing, I'm like making eye contact with Sauce Gardner, the cornerback for the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Like with his grill and like a sideways hat talking about his fucking disruption of this pass versus the fucking Panthers.
Yeah.
And I'm just like pretending to watch that as my eyes go cross-eyed and I'm getting jerked.
yeah. So guys, I mean, it was it was a pretty crazy experience to see just happen in front of me, and it was he deserved it. It was like you went to jail, and I was gonna make the joke like, when's the last time you got laid, buddy? But it was like it ended up being like a perfect way to end that trip with that woman on that flight.
Getting jacked off.
You'll probably see her again, won't you?
Oh, yeah. Fucking time will tell. I mean,
Yeah.
she's a good traveling companion, I'll say that.
Fez, now maybe now since we've gotten all the way back to we're back in the States, now it's time to talk to Fez about have you been getting all the loads of vagina that's been coming your way?
Oh, I bet this answer is going to be fucking affirmative.
Yeah, how's
right?
that going, buddy? How's it going? Have you talked to a few girls? I try to text that girl. Remember, we asked on Leo and Friends, we asked a girl, subscribe to the Patreon. We do some crazy stuff there. Leo and Friends is a great show. Fez and we went through his DMs and we found one woman.
What happened to Nico on there, by the way?
No, he's still going to do it, but he just can't do it at night, and we've been doing it at night often because of scheduling, like for me mainly. But he's still on the show.
He's got to give Jill the wee. Continue.
Yeah. So now so we DM'd a girl. Now, it was a little unfortunate that the only way to contact her was through a Discord. That's the only way.
What?
Yeah, which was whatever. If you could contact her anyway, whatever, it was the Discord. Not Instagram, not her phone number. It was the Discord, but it was a friend of his.
It's a trading card store girl.
Yeah, so that maybe that's what she was, trading card store girl.
girl,
Now,
so.
we asked her to coffee. Now, what was her response? I mean, she said, what was her first response?
Well, originally it was simple like this. She
I
didn't
would
like
rather have my
coffee.
head run over by a pickup truck. Sorry, dude.
No, I didn't like that, but
Fez, you would be really good looking in West Virginia and Virginia, even as fat as you are now. I mean, you could still pull now if you did what I said. You dress like DJ Khaled and kind of had like black man like confidence. You would still pull because there's plenty of black guys just like really fat like you that pull mad bitches.
You should, you got to get a fake Rolex though.
Yeah, exactly. No, everything, fake Gucci suit,
Yeah.
like everything. You should be fake designer head to toe.
And then you just gotta close on the first night before they find out you're on disability and have zero money.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta close on the first
Also,
night.
there's something else I did on there, Danny, that you're really going to appreciate because I sent you that DM. I sent you that screenshot. But the girl that Saltine hooked up with, which you guys, nobody's following her, so you're not going to know who she is. But I told her he was a rich, he was a rich card playing legend. Like he makes $1 million a year playing card games.
Who's the richest guy who plays card games? Is that even a thing?
Some magic guy.
Magic the Gathering guy?
Yeah.
How much do you think he makes?
Fuck you. I do like Magic.
All right, that's great.
Magic's
Good for you.
cool.
Magic the Gathering is like my one nerdy pleasure. But
Did
what do you think he
see
makes?
That one guy sold that Magic the Gathering card for $2 million.
Black Lotus.
So that's the richest guy in Magic.
Guy, probably.
He sold it to Post Malone, the Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
the
Yes.
One Ring.
Yeah.
It's a
Wow.
one of a kind card, and Post Malone bought it for like $2 million.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty dope. But so we DM'd
Is
the
it?
girl that Saltine hooked up with, who, by the way, he raw dogged and came inside of, she said she was down to blow Fez. So, she also said she was down to blow everybody in this house, including like Dino and Austin.
Wow.
And everybody.
Well,
She's like,
Saltine certainly knows how to pick him.
oh yeah, he came inside her, but hey man, like she fucking said she was clean.
She's a good girl, dude. She's got a
good girl.
prospect. I mean, Fez, I don't want you to take offense, but any girl that'll blow Fez, you should not be coming.
Stop, dude. Did you not learn anything? You didn't get humbled by going to jail. Look, you're still talking mad. I'm sorry, Fez.
Fez,
No
you
problem.
need to. Okay, this is the thing. It's like I'm so sorry, Fez, but I mean, I want you to be on your shit. We got to
Yeah.
give you some tough love, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want you to go out there and try to be fucking dating chicks and being like, why don't they like me?
Right.
They don't like you because right now you're out of shape, dude, and you got to get your life together.
But you're slowly but surely, my friend, one day at a time, one less Coca-Cola a day is
Well,
going
I
to lead
got him
you.
to try Coke Zero.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
Well, wait,
pretty
he had
good.
never-
He said it was good. He had never even
Thank you.
tried it.
Coke Zero, dude. I've been telling you, it's so much better than Diet Coke. It's so much better than Diet Coke, Fez.
Yeah.
You
How many
should know
sodas
this.
do you drink a day?
Well, I cut down ever since I haven't talked with Danny.
Right.
I mean, Leo.
Leo, yeah, of course.
I was taking 6 a day. So I cut down
How many
insane.
now?
3.
All right, so half.
I still think he's drinking 6, maybe even 7. Maybe,
Oh,
maybe the
shit.
stress of getting called on his weight made
They
him
don't
up
really,
it.
Danny, you know, like a lot of people that drink soda don't know why they're addicted, and it's the caffeine. That's really what I think. Because your first sip of coffee in the morning,
Yeah.
what does that feel like?
It's bliss.
Bliss.
Yeah, I'm
It's the-
addicted. I'm addicted to coffee.
I'm
for
addicted
sure.
to coffee bad.
Yeah.
You look forward to that first sip, dude. I swear to God, some days, the only thing that's good about my day is that first sip of coffee.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, but
that's...
do you get like random cravings in the middle of the day?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I need coffee because I feel like it's the sugar because it's literally. I think 4 whole tablespoons of sugar in
In a-
1 bottle of Coke. They're like a big ass
it's both.
spoonful of sugar.
You're
It doesn't even
absolutely...
seem like all that can dissolve. Like
It
it's
doesn't
crazy.
make
that-
sense.
Yeah.
So, Austin, it's both. It's definitely both. But I do truly believe that every soda that everybody's super addicted to, like Mountain Dew Mouth, you know. And by the way, Mountain Dew Mouth, we saw some teeth there. By the way, the guy, Eddie, that we had the meth head in the car, 0 teeth, not one in his mouth, not one. Not one.
Get some good dummy.
Yeah, exactly. He could give some great head, man. But I'll tell you right now, dude. Most people with the soda, the heavy soda drinkers, their teeth were like they were little and they had like these dark like crust on the bottom of them. It was so fucked up. I don't know why someone would just like not give a fuck about their teeth so much.
I know people who are addicted to the sugar-free Red Bulls, and there's no sugar in that, and that's just caffeine. So
But
there might
dude,
be
but the
something
thing
to
is
that.
though, dude, that thing is so chock full of processed chemicals, dude. Like,
you don't want to do that shit either.
well,
yeah.
Leo drinks them.
Oh, if there's nothing, I mean, if I really want to pick me up, because the taurine and the caffeine combo, dude, that is, it's my get up and go, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But Fez,
Why not just drink no sodas? Is that impossible?
I mean, I could.
Of course, bro.
I
One
just
day to the
cannot-
next?
I
One day to the
cannot
next, Danny?
Give up Coke. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but if it meant you lived for 20 more years,
I know, bro.
would it be
Fez,
worth
Why
it?
would I? How would I want to live when I'm 60 and a crippled old man?
why
See,
would you
that's-
be?
Well,
a
Why do
lot
you
of
think you're
people
going to
are
be
getting
crippled when you're
pussy they're
60?
60. That's why you got to get in shape.
Dude, if you get in shape, you can get so much pussy basically until you're 70.
How old is Joe Rogan, dude? Joe Rogan's like 56.
Joe Rogan is like
Rogan's 56,
60.
and dude, you can go to any college right now and pull one of the hotter sorority
Yeah, my
chicks.
dad's like almost 60. And he's
Let me
still
see how old Joe Rogan
Dad's
is.
a pimp, dude. Austin's
Joe Rogan
dad's
is
a pimp.
56, dude. I nailed it.
Austin's dad's a pimp and he's almost 60. My pops
Yeah.
fucking looks like George Clooney, 67.
What is it, Fez? Because I feel like this is there. I'm not going to say who, but there's somebody else recently we've been having talks with about diet and lifestyle choices. Why is it so hard to change?
Well, for a person like me who has been unhealthy for quite a while, I'll be honest. Yes, I have eaten stuff that affects my daily routines. I mean, I could change it, but just cut it off a bunch of carbs, sugars. I don't know what the name of that, but grains. You know,
Dude, all you need to cut right now is sugar, bro. Like you can basically keep everything else for now. I mean, you're close to 300 pounds. I mean, you did lose 100 pounds, so I know that you know what it's like to be in at least a little bit of a
Just to
calorie
be
deficit.
clear, I'm 297 now.
Let's
so I'm
go.
on the way.
And he does go to the gym. He takes his selfies at the gym.
Okay.
See him.
I
You
mean,
take selfies at the gym? Let me see one of those. Can you pull those up?
yeah, let's see a selfie.
I
at
got to
the
see
gym.
a gym selfie from Fez.
Okay.
Follow Fez, by the way, on Instagram. This kid's, not a kid really. He's almost 40, and he is a virgin. So follow him because he's a virgin, and he needs our help, boys.
Yeah, Fez, have you
Well,
given
that's
up
what I
on
mean. You have to like lay one down to become a man. So
Yeah.
in a way, he still is a kid.
He is a kid.
We're
Austin.
going to
is
change that,
fully-
though. I think we're going to get him a hooker, though, but
Yeah, we are.
That works though. That counts.
Yeah, no,
It counts for
100%.
like Down
I mean,
syndrome
I
people.
convinced him
Yeah.
that he already agreed that like maybe a hand job from a hooker would not be so terrifying.
oh, sure, just a hand job. What if I fucking pour a bottle of Coke all over her? Then you'll fuck her. She's dripping wet with cola, dude. She could just wear one of those Coke bottle suits we wore in the Fattest Town in America video.
Yeah, dude.
That's how we lure Fez into making love. It's like trying to get a panda to fuck.
Oh yeah. Fez. Look at that,
Let me
dude.
see this. I am looking at a photo of Fez. Really, Fez, what is the point of taking this photo? Respect my authority, Cartman quote. It's got 38 likes on it. That's not bad.
There we go.
But, it's just... do you think you look like sexy in this photo, Fez?
I was not.
He's just. It's day one.
I was not aiming to that at all. I was just aiming to like, you know what? I'm coming to the gym. I
Yeah.
just want to do one day at a time. And
Hell
putting
yeah.
in some
I
change.
like the accountability. If you put it out there, I think it helps for you to keep doing it, to keep staying active, and making it a habit.
Yeah.
You make it a habit. Now, whatever you feel, the way you feel now on the daily, though, the thing about like losing the weight and like stopping all the sugar, you're gonna feel so good that one day you might be addicted to that feeling good, bro. Because I know you get tired, bro. Like you probably your daily activities, bro. Like there's like I know that if you climb like a flight of stairs, you feel like shit, right?
Those stairs are my enemy.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You're 300 pounds.
You're just a very regular flight of stairs or your enemy. You really hate those that much?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Best thing
Dude,
about
we
Fez.
forced Fez to walk up this like huge flight of stairs in Santa Monica. Like,
Yeah.
it was fucked up. We should've
Yeah,
found
no,
an
actually,
elevator,
I was hating on the stairs. No, the problem is not even grabbing the stairs. It's the fact that I get vertigo just going down, looking it up, how deep the shit goes, and then go and walk right back up. I'm like, I just have
You guys were hitting the Santa Monica stairs.
Yes.
Fez,
Yeah, I
do
know
you-
those stairs.
Do you like chicks, Fez?
Yeah, why not?
If you're gay, that's okay too, bro.
Well, if I was gay, I'd rather be asexual at that point.
Well, I got deep into it with him on Leon and Friends, Danny, and
Because he just was very effeminate right there.
he is. I think because he's like Fez, dude. Fez was effeminate
That's
too.
true. That's true.
But the thing is, I did a deep dive, and I think he jerks off to hentai, and like hentai is not gay, dude. You know?
It's bestiality, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it
Yes.
is.
Not necessarily. Well, some of it.
Some
Some
of
of
it.
it's a little.
But it's like a manly guy with tentacles, right? It's not just like
Okay, so
Can you pull up some hentai?
Yeah, a lot
Just
of
for us to
older
watch,
For
right?
us.
yeah, Fez, give us one that would get your rocks going. Get your rocks off.
Yeah, we'll just watch it on our screen, Austin, so you don't have to show it to the audience.
Yeah.
We'll describe
Yeah.
it.
Now,
So like pornography is used to be a lot more. It still is now censored in Japan.
Yeah.
So the tentacle porn is really just a result of not being allowed to show penises. So
Yeah.
it'd be like the girl would just get fucked by like an octopus tentacle.
You know what's
Yes.
insane is I watched a porn, some horrible video I found on some tube site. There was a shit orgy in Japan where all these guys took turns defecating on a young Japanese girl's face, but their cocks were blurred while they were shitting on her.
that's gnarly. That doesn't make any sense. Does
No.
it? That makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Now, Fez, but what can I ask you? What like you might throw into a search bar when you're looking to get to jerk off? Be honest.
Well, we'll look into that, like expert, vagina. Spit down.
Can we please
please clip that? Just Austin, we gotta clip that, dude. What did you just say?
I just need the word vagina.
I just look for the vagina.
I think Fez might like dudes a little bit. I mean, that was
Fez, look, hey, there's nothing wrong with being gay, bro. Like, we can get you probably laid in the gay world so much faster, bro.
No, thanks.
And it's okay if you're gay. I mean, I know you have trouble. You have a crazy relationship with your mom, and I know that she's upset about your lifestyle now. But I do believe that if you were gay, bro, like, she'd get over it. She'd probably say, like, yeah, it all makes sense now. Like Colton on The Bachelorette, dude. Colton was a virgin at 27, and because he was gay.
Okay.
And then eventually he lost his virginity.
Good for him, I guess.
Yeah, good for him. But
it is good for him.
Fez,
He's very
trust,
rich.
You can be gay, and we're not going to think less of you. I just want you to know that.
And we do want you to get in shape and, tackle your sexual identity, whatever it is.
Yeah. But maybe we could take him to. There it is, Fez. So
Yeah, there's a
Tentacle.
phantom dick about to go into a trembling hot anime girl's twat.
it definitely looks like rape.
Here come
Not
the
gonna lie.
tentacles. Yeah, the tentacles are massaging her G-spot underneath her panties.
Nice of him. Oh shit, he's already putting was that a finger or his cock?
I think it's a
in her mouth?
tentacle.
cock.
Was it Fez?
Did you like that, Fez?
It has begun.
It has begun.
All right.
All right. So she's bent over now, and she looks kind of like.
She's feeling
Oh wait,
it.
he put it in her. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
she's
he's
getting mouth
fucking
fucked.
her.
This chick's
and her
definitely-
asshole.
This chick is 100% getting raped
Yeah.
while some sort of depraved scientist is watching through two-way glass.
Right.
Dude, a lot of older hentai like this, it's like all rape.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
girl is getting mouth fucked by a phantom. Does that make it legal if it's like a ghost that's fucking her?
Basically.
Yeah,
It's okay
it
in
would help with
Japan.
this.
Dude, he is gaping her pussy. Not so much her asshole. It looks like he's putting a finger in her asshole. But
Yeah, just like
No,
the tip.
a finger
just the
the
tip
tip
of the
of
thing.
the asshole.
Dude, she's getting her mouth fucked and she doesn't look like she loves it.
and is she gonna come?
Yeah, usually they'll be like, "Oh no, stop! I'm gonna come," and then they come while they're being raped, and then it's like, "Ha ha, you came even though you were being raped."
She just
Just sworn to my maid.
she climaxed so hard she switched into a maid outfit.
Go grab his penis, Danny. Let's see if it's got a little rise in his pants.
You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna feel your penis now, and then we're gonna watch gay hentai, and I'm gonna feel your penis
No,
again.
no thanks. No
It's okay.
way.
Fez, are you hard right now? I don't want to grope you.
Would you say there's a little blood or not?
I'm a little turned on.
All right.
it's not
good
bad.
for
What
you.
about you?
So,
I mean, it's okay for now.
I don't
tell
think he's
me-
turned on.
Fez, tell me the truth. Every night you masturbate to hentai?
I don't really watch hentai that much.
So what are you
but-
masturbating to at night?
No, not gay porn.
It might be gay porn, dude. What are you actually masturbating to at night?
Well, what I dream at night mostly, like, I just get fantasies about, fucking,
Your neighbor or something?
yeah.
What a fetish.
I actually have a really hot neighbor. She's like this Asian chick who lives with a bunch of white dudes.
Oh,
Wait,
shit.
What?
So he fantasizes about his neighbor.
Why
Danny. What's wrong with that?
are the white dudes relevant?
I don't know.
Why are the white? Wait, Dad was now I'm questioning. Now I'm starting to believe, Danny, you might be a homosexual. It's okay if you are.
Let's watch some gay
Can
hentai
I
real
just,
quick.
can I
Austin.
just
I don't wanna
see
search
sexual?
that.
No, we're
Gay
doing it.
hentai?
We're doing that's your job, dude. We're doing it.
Gay hentai. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I don't. Do they even have gay?
We're gonna find out.
Nah,
Yeah, well,
come
Fez
on,
would
you
know.
Fez.
We're gonna find out.
I don't know any of that.
We're about
I feel
to
like
find
hentai
out.
even doesn't have-
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh, they do.
Oh, they do.
Oh, sick fucks.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Come on,
shit.
Hell yeah. What
Don't be
the
intolerant now, Fez. We're gonna watch some gay
Oh
hentai, dude.
shit, dude.
All
All
right.
right, let's see this.
Fez, I'm keeping an eye on your crotch.
Shit.
Oh shit.
Okay, somebody's already getting fucked, and we're like a
Yeah.
second in.
And they're blurring the hentai cock.
Yeah.
This is a woman, I think.
That's fucked up.
But it's
a
like an
horse,
animal
dude.
person.
Okay. Yeah, this is
fucked up.
this is
dude.
really what's destroying the youth.
I
dude.
think so too.
I think
now
they both have tits, but they're dudes.
Yeah, this is just.
This is like that guy that killed those people at UCSB. Who is it? What's that guy's name?
Oh, I forget. The Perfect Gentleman.
Yeah, no doubt that he watches this shit.
Well, he's dead. But
Yeah, he's dead.
yeah, no, I feel like this is just all. I mean, I feel like most mental disorders can just be explained by excessive access to hentai porn.
This is like the worst thing I've ever seen. They're
No,
like,
I doubt
I
that very
agree.
much. Shut
they're
up.
like furry dudes with tits, and they're having sex with each other.
Yeah, that it is a dude. It's two dudes. Yeah.
Oh, they're jerking off.
Oh yeah, it is two dudes. Oh, it is
It's
gay
two-
hentai.
and they just
have
came together.
boobs.
It's gay hentai, dude.
Listen, and
Oh, he went lip. Oh,
When it's a bear,
dude.
when it's a
Fez,
girl.
if you want to go relieve yourself, you can go masturbate right now, dude.
That's all right.
Fez, go masturbate.
So you just fantasize about like your neighbor or something. We have to, in order for you to reach the zenith of putting your penis into a hole that's warm and fun, and feels good, you have to tell us a little bit about your sexuality. Like, what do you masturbate to, honestly, at night? Guys. And you said you do it every night. You said you masturbate
Yeah,
once
I
a
do.
day. Okay, so is it just fantasies in your head?
It's always the Asian girl when you're dreaming.
It's always something else. It's literally something else.
Something different every day?
I just never get bored because I always go outside and look at chicks every day. As a matter of fact, on my way here from Westwood, I saw this one guy,
Whoa! Continue.
one guy, one girl talking.
Okay.
And
And?
she approached him and talked to him, and I was like, "Oh, well, I want to talk to me. What can I do to be different?" I'm like,
Well,
guess-
talk a little closer to the
Into
mic.
that mic.
And
Yeah.
also, girls will just never talk to you. Like, unless, I don't know, you're like Leo or something.
Wait. I want to hear about where this story is going, Austin. I agree.
So
That's what he's
no,
saying. He's saying, why doesn't this chick...
I get that, but I also want to hear, like, it sounds like you masturbated in the car or something to this scene.
So so that turned you on?
No, they didn't turn me on. What turned me on was the fact that I wanted to go talk to that girl.
Yeah.
I really wanted to, but unfortunately, as soon as I was trying to, she asked the guy, like, can we switch places? Like, where you were the girl and Danny was the guy, and you guys switch places, so she didn't have to look at me. And
You
that
think
was
that's
like,
why she did that? Unless were you staring at her like this?
I was.
Oh, you were staring at her. You made her feel weird. That's
Yeah.
okay. It happens to all of us. I've done that before. It's okay.
How'd the guy's butt look?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention to the white PC dude.
All right. So
I don't know.
You can't give us a straight answer.
I don't know. This is who jacks off? Who goes out looking for girls on the street to go jack off to?
I mean, I used to maybe
never
when I was
heard
in
of
high
that.
school and I didn't have access to anything to jerk off to. I would do that. And then one day TRL came. There was this show on MTV. You remember TRL?
Yes, that was fun.
It was just a
days.
music video countdown, and boy, would I wait for that Jennifer Lopez video.
Or what
to
about-
masturbate to?
Oops, I did it.
Britney Spears.
again.
I would masturbate to
Christina
Britney Spears,
Aguilera.
Jennifer Lopez, and then Christina Aguilera, and
Ooh, yeah.
the dirty music video.
Hell yeah.
Oh
those were
my
the best.
god!
Can we pull up?
Dirty was fucking
Can we pull up
fun.
Britney Spears in the red jumpsuit?
It's one of the great jerk off music videos, my friend. I recommend. You know what I recommend to you is to start jerking off to music videos, Fez. I think it's a
agree.
good start. For you.
That definitely is good.
I know you don't like porn. Porn is fucked up, but music videos,
No, smile.
it's okay. And music
Anybody
videos,
can enjoy them.
exactly.
This was her at her absolute
Dude,
peak.
yeah.
We're watching
Britney
Britney right now in the red jumpsuit. This was my youth, dude. I was just coming into my own as a sexual being.
me too.
I was humping pillows. Just, jizz was finally starting to come out of the tip of my little wee wee.
Yeah.
And then Britney stormed onto the scene. I didn't know she was this mentally ill redneck.
Yeah.
But I mean, she probably grew up not far from Welch, West Virginia.
Seriously. Boy, did her, he was a scamming Middle Eastern man, Sam Asghari. He really dropped the ball. I guess one more year staying married to her, he's filed for divorce. He would have gotten $1 million.
Yeah.
But instead, I guess he said that he was afraid for his life because she was playing with knives all day, which I think is the funniest thing ever. Can you imagine like Britney the way she is now? Like, oh, this knife is so cool.
Oh my God, dude.
Like
I
she
will stab
poor
you to
girl,
the
man.
love,
I mean, that was another big pharma kind of takedown. They took her down because
Yeah.
that's what she was addicted to was heavy pills.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, they almost got Eminem. Eminem said that he got off the oxys by running 8 miles a day on a treadmill. He would just work out like all day. And
How about that,
was,
Fez?
That was bro. They tell you got to get off the sugar,
He
bro.
should have the sugar and homosexuality.
Look at Britney though.
I get. Britney was like hot, but it's crazy now that there are just. I mean, if you go to your Instagram Explore page, you will see a girl who goes to the University of Florida who's twice as hot. But it's I love it.
Well, yeah, that's what they're saying nowadays. Well, that's just because we have more. What is it like? It's more exposure for these chicks. But yeah, the college girl is the most beautiful girl now, except for maybe the Victoria's Secret like models. In my opinion, and they're not even. They don't look like supermodels because these Victoria's Secret they still have asses and they still they look like hot Colombian girls or something. But yeah, you're right. this was during her in her heyday. There was no exposure to these college girls in the middle of America, and we just got to experience that going to UCLA. And there were some.
But I would take these fucking. I mean, UCLA is one thing, but dude, I would take Britney or Christina Aguilera. I mean, Britney can dance, a good entertainer for sure. Christina Aguilera's got pipes.
Oh yeah,
I would so take. Like, it is now the era of no talent. Like, I'm hot. I'm a fucking Louis C.K. had the best bit about it ever. Just like so what do? I'm a hot chick. Like, can you elaborate? People want to fuck me. I go to the bar and people want to fuck me. Like, that is where we're at these days. And I miss the time when there was a little bit of curation. I miss some gatekeepers. I was watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard documentary on Netflix, and it was the worst piece of shit. The one entertaining part was when Johnny Depp is pouring himself mega pints of wine and tearing down cabinets and fucking destroying his penthouse in downtown LA. But then they start doing this thing where they're cutting to all these amateur news people on YouTube, all these influencers, and they keep cutting to stock footage of a guy watching the trial on his phone, like, oh, it's the age of social media, it's the age of and it just made me realize, like, it is the age now of a bunch of no talent fucking jackoffs.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Just like taking something that's happening and just commenting on it.
Yeah.
Just like, here's a thing that I'm going to play on my screen, and every now and then I'm going to interject in a way that makes the video more annoying.
Yeah.
Subscribe to my channel and fucking let me read this ad.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Instagram chicks. It's the age of fucking no talent. What happened to putting on a red jumpsuit and fucking dancing around? Now you just show your pussy on a fucking yacht.
Yeah.
You just fucking commentate on some other piece of content that already exists.
Yeah.
I missed the fucking... This was the shittiest Netflix documentary because no professionals fucking made it.
Right.
They just like, we'll fucking cut to some jack-off in his library wearing a Spider-Man mask.
I hope it's a fad. I mean, I don't think that TikTok's going to be around forever, and that's kind of what brought it on. I mean, obviously Instagram, like Summer Rae, for example. I mean, I don't want to say she doesn't have any talent, but I mean,
she's the love of your life. You better not talk shit, dude. How many times have you jacked off to Summer Rae?
Dude, I've jacked off a couple times. The old Summer.
It's really just a product of the way the whole system works. It's like, if you want to go out and make original content, that takes a lot of time and effort. Maybe you can get one video out a week. But if you just want to commentate on other people's content, you could pump out one video a day, and then you're going to get overall more views, and that gets you overall more exposure.
Yeah.
And that's why the system is just rigged against people who actually want to put any sort of effort into their content at all, because the meta is just to post 3 videos a day.
Also, don't you think
I didn't mean to knock people who do commentary too. Dude, if you're making money, fucking good shit. It was more just this documentary in particular, just how they can they just outsourced all the work to there would be segments of this documentary that were 5 minutes long where they were just cutting to different social media analysis.
Yeah.
It's like, how about you guys get in some fucking legal professionals and put together a good documentary?
It's a shame, dude. I don't know. I hope it's a fad. I feel like maybe if we really did like a deep dive into the past, like maybe there was a time when there was all this shitty music out there. My dad says that like there were so many disco bands that ended up like you never heard from them again, and the only thing that ended up that's still on the radio or whatever from his disco days were just like certain ones that were really good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how it's going to be for this entire generation of people that just comment on shit. And
that's gonna be sad.
I think Fez, I think you're gonna rise to the top because you're fat and you're like a buoy in a lake.
All right.
So I'm so sorry, Fez.
Jesus Christ.
I'm so sorry, Fez.
We're going to change your life, dog, because you're going to have sex for the first time, probably at a brothel.
Yeah,
and it's going to be with us.
You're going to have sex at a brothel. But guys, we got to probably wrap now.
Yeah.
All right.
This was a lot of fun.
Get on home.
Check out the old Patreon once again, Leo and Friends. It's linked down below, and we love you guys. And Fez, follow Fez, dude. He's a good friend. He's a good friend of the channel.
Follow Fez. Give him a follow.
And there's going to be a lot of fun moments with Fez in the future. All right, guys. Peace.